up on the agenda is presentation of the June Volunteers of the Month. Lynn, do you have the presentation?
Good evening, Mayor Anderson and members of the Council. Tonight I am pleased to present the Volunteers of the Month for June 2012, Pat and Bob Fairbanks. We are honoring Pat and Bob a little earlier than usual because they will soon be leaving Dana Point as they embark on the next chapter of their lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. Shortly after they retired, Pat and Bob Fairbanks moved to Dana Point from Hollywood Hills in 1989 to be closer to their son. Their first step towards community involvement was not necessarily intentional. It all began when Pat and Bob attended their first homeowners association meeting after moving in. There was a vacancy on the board, and as one of the 4 meeting attendees that day, Pat was volunteered for the job. Before long, Pat became president of the HOA for the Monarch Beach Villas. Pat's hard work and dedication, as well as support from Bob, even earned her the honor of South Orange County HOA President of the Year in 2001. As Pat and Bob became more familiar with Dana Point, they joined the Dana Point Historical Society, where they worked to acknowledge and preserve the collection of historic buildings that contribute to the eclectic visual character of the community and serve as a reminder of the rich and colorful past of our community. Throughout the years, they have been heavily involved in the organization's marquee annual home tour, where Pat is often a docent. You can often find both Pat and Bob supporting the Historical Society at the Festival of Wales as readers of 2 years before the Mast. In 2010, Pat was awarded the Pat Plepler Annual Citizenship Award for her numerous contributions to the community, promoting volunteerism and civic engagement. When the Earth Ocean Society formed in 2006, Pat and Bob were asked to be on the initial board of directors to educate our community to improve and preserve a clean earth, watersheds, and beaches by providing hands-on educational programs, volunteering, and peer mentoring. When asked about EOS, Pat and Bob are quite enthusiastic about working with various 5th grade projects throughout the years and educating students on water quality and conservation. They truly believe in making a difference in our community by working with and engaging local youth. During a demonstration for the 5th grade students at RH Dana Elementary School about saving water, Bob noticed another problem. There were severely outdated emergency kits in several classrooms. Through a grant from the city, the Earth Ocean Society obtained emergency kits for every single classroom in that school. Many of Pat and Bob's community commitments have come because of their knack for being in the right place at the right time. After being involved with the Monarch Beach Civic Association for several years, Pat and Bob responded to an article in the Orange County Register inviting residents to the first ever coffee talk. When they showed up at Coffee and Porter's one Saturday afternoon, they were surprised to discover that they comprised of 100% of the participants. After a productive, though small meeting, these chats evolved into the monthly Dana Point Civic Association Third Friday Coffee Chats, with the mission to provide the community information and insight on important community topics. Pat has held the post of president of the Dana Point Civic Association for the past 12 years. Those of you who know Pat and Bob know that one of their biggest passions in life is traveling and exploring the world. In fact, they've been to all 7 continents. Even when roving the globe, Pat and Bob continue to help those in need. Throughout the years, the Fairbanks have collected used children's books and taken suitcases full of them to children in impoverished communities in the Caribbean, Mexico, and Indonesia. Through this generous gift, children are often given an opportunity to advance their education and often receive the first book they have ever owned. In their spare time, Pat and Bob have volunteered on a great number of other projects and programs throughout the community, including cleaning up the harbor after 4th of July fireworks, supporting the 5th Marine Regiment Support Group, coastal cleanup days, attending Coastal Commission meetings to support the revitalization of the Dana Point Harbor, overseeing elections, political campaigning, and being on the board of the Capistrano Valley Symphony. Through it all, Pat and Bob's greatest passion is for the community of Dana Point. Having lived in 7 different cities and 13 different homes during their 60 years of married life, the Fairbanks have spent more of their lives in Dana Point than any other place. They have embedded themselves in the Dana Point community through organizations and the many wonderful people that they have met here. The community will be a little emptier without Pat and Bob as they plan on moving up to San Francisco Bay to enjoy the next chapter of their lives. We wish you luck and happiness wherever your adventures may take you. Congratulations, Pat and Bob, on being selected as the Dana Point Volunteers of the Month for June 2012.
those always feel a little bit like this is your life, doesn't it? Come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, Pat and Bob Fairbanks. Well, congratulations. You know, we're really appreciate everything that you do. Now, there were two unofficial things that weren't mentioned. Face the camera so everybody can see your beautiful faces. Yeah.
You know my camera's Bob?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Bob's kind of the unofficial photographer of Dana Point. I mean, wherever there's an event and Bob's there with his camera, you taking pictures of, and here he goes again. Yeah. All the time. So really, we're going to be at a loss for photographs. Fortunately, we still have Terry and Al Wickstrom and people like that to come around and take pictures, but we're definitely going to miss your photographic perspective. Also, another unofficial role that you have are ambassadors of Dana Point. I mean, you've traveled the world. You've told countless people all about Dana Point. You're probably solely responsible for, some of these tourists we get from far-flung places that would have no idea where Dana Point is. Just, oh, hey, I met those nice Fairbanks people on that cruise. I'm going to go check out Dana Point.
Get to the point.
That's it. Get to the point. There you go. So I have a certificate here for you. And this is for Pat and Bob Fairbanks, Volunteers of the Month. Terry's going to get a picture. Presented by the City Council in recognition of your dedicated service to the community as founders of the Dana Point Civic Association, volunteers at the Dana Point Library, Capistrano Valley Symphony, Dana Point Earth Ocean Society, and Historical Society. Your longtime involvement in the community is deeply appreciated, and I take great pleasure on behalf of all of us to select you as Volunteers of the Month for June 2012. That's the certificate, and then I have the plaque. Why don't you hold that? And then I will give Bob the plaque because you really have made a huge difference in our community. You really, really have. I mean, it's just wherever the Fairbanks go, other people obviously follow. So look at the Civic Association now and all the work that you've done and how just things have grown and blossomed under your care. So thank you very much. And now Terry wants to take more pictures, and then you give a speech.
Stand up straight. Here. Bob, you want me to take one with your camera? Yeah. I need a backup.
Worldisround.com. That's just your website. Okay.
Okay. I think both Bob and I would like to thank Dana Point for being a real home to us, for all the friends and nice people we've met here in Dana Point. And we'd also like to pump for volunteerism. If you run for council, it's very expensive, and you have to be here every 2 weeks. If you're a volunteer, you do it when you want to do it, and you're free to come and go as you please, and you can still do a lot for your city. So everybody get out there and volunteer.
I'd like to thank a lot of people, but first of all, I'd like to thank Lynn Kelly for taking away everything I was planning to say. I was going to use some numbers and say that, we've been married 60 years, and we've been in 7 different cities and 13 homes. And we've been in this city and this home longer than anywhere, so it's with very bittersweet feelings that we're planning to leave. It's kind of ironic that, I think we planned to. It's ironic that we're getting thanked tonight because after 23 years, we owe this city so much, and the people in it, and the people we've met, and so many of whom are right here in this room on all sides, surrounded by good friends, and so we thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more little thing. We came to Dana Point as Dana Point came to be, and we've watched it go from a nice group of council people to utter chaos when the council meetings were till 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was the must-see television of the week to see what was going to happen at each meeting, to a wonderful, wonderful, very efficient, marvelous council who's given us this super place to live.
Thank you.
Thank you.